what did Lexus just do to the ES? And how do I really think about it? Before we get started, we have to go back to what the Lexus ES has always meant to the brand lineup. This is the car that helped launch the brand in the early 90s, and maybe it wasn't the first fully Lexus engineered vehicle in the lineup. The LS was definitely that. But when the brand launched, Lexus decided that they wanted to launch with two cars. So what they did was they took a Toyota Camry, added some leather and some sound deadening, made sure it was the V6, and put it in the lineup. And that was the original ES 300. And throughout the years, the ES has always punched above its weight class for a few major things. One is that lovely V6 engine. Two is the comfort and quiet ride of the ES. And three is surprising space for the back seat. This was like the first true mid-size sedan in the lineup. And over the years, we saw this car change a lot, and I know some people in the comments will probably pick their favorite year or favorite generation ES, or maybe even least favorite, because I'll be honest with you, there is some generations that were not my favorite. I thought they looked pretty bland for a little bit there. However, in 2018, we saw the biggest redesign, and that was where that vehicle really started to compete with the LS. Sorry, I should say late 2018. It was a 2019 model. And working at Lexus at the time, the new LS launched in 2018, and it got rid of the V8, it introduced the twin-turbo V6, it had this amazing interior cabin, and people started ordering them. The following year, the ES got redesigned, and almost immediately that car hurt the sales of the LS because it was just as quiet ride for half the price. Quite literally, you could buy two ESs for the price of one LS 500. And yes, it was still a front-wheel drive platform, but that 3.5 liter V6 with over 300 horsepower was punchy and actually pretty fun to drive, especially with the introduction of F-Sport in that year. So once we started to see the ES take over in the sedan world for Lexus, we knew the end of the LS was coming, and I'll do a whole other video on what is to come for the LS nameplate. But then, to my surprise, Lexus announced the new ES with the biggest change in design and details, I guess specs, that I couldn't have ever predicted. So for 2026, the ES is announced that it is not that lovely 3.5 liter V6 that we know and love, and not even a turbocharged 4-cylinder, which I was expecting, but instead EV only and hybrid only. Now, the exciting part of this was when I found out that ES was going to have an ES 500. This is a car that I've longed for since the days of the GSF. I always thought it would be cool if there was an ESF. And if you don't know what the GSF is, back in the day, there was a GS 350, which was kind of in the same size category as the ES, but like a more athletic older brother. It was a rear-wheel drive platform, all-wheel drive, big engine, big power, big, driving experience. And for a couple years, there was something called the GSF, which was a V8 version of that car. So thinking about the ES and how cool and loved the ES is at that price point, I always thought it'd be great to see an ESF. So hearing that there was gonna be an ES 500, I got pretty excited. Didn't know what to think when I found out it was gonna be a full EV, until I drove one. So back about a month ago, I had the chance to drive the new Mercedes EQS. And I know that's gonna sound like I'm changing subject, and I kind of am. That morning, I took the EQS for a drive, and I was pretty impressed. I know that the styling of the EQS was kind of silly because it didn't look like your traditional S-Class. But once I started driving it and I paid attention to the cabin, I thought, damn, even though this doesn't look like the traditional S-Class, I realized it was still a really good car. And I could tell that for that car, the EQS, Mercedes did a really good job of focusing on an experience that wasn't just the car itself, but the passenger. Meaning it was almost like a spa inside. Being fully electric, the powertrain, the up and go, all of that felt very smooth, quiet, and effortless. And lucky enough, how fate would have it, that afternoon, I got to drive the new ES 500. Now, I need you to understand something. The price point between an EQS by Mercedes and an ES 500 by Lexus is about double, if not more. I think the EQS that I drove was around $200,000 Canadian, and the ES500 I drove was in like the 70s. And I'm here to tell you, the Lexus ES was better. Yes, it didn't have all of the spa things that the EQS had. Like the EQS had like certain noises and sounds that the car would make as you drive it. The ES didn't have that, but it did have that spa-like interior cabin. And Lexus did one better. They even took a bamboo material and backlit it so that it looks even more calming and serene inside this cabin. And I thought to myself, the future is not V6s and V8s. The future is probably electric. And once I realized what the car is for, it's for the driver, it's for the passenger. It's not for just the mechanical nerds like myself. I realized this is a darn good car. Tons of get up and go, tons of space. It looks so tall. If you park it beside an RX or an NX, it almost looks the same size, but it also looks like a sedan. And I even found some videos and pictures online of like people who have VIP an ES500 already. And if you don't know what VIP was, you should look at my old video about my LS that was VIP. Think big wheels, slam to the ground, big sedan. And that's what the ES500 reminds me of. It's like that tall sedan with big wheels. It's got like 21-inch factory wheels, and imagine you could probably put 22s on it. Imagine it lowered, imagine it blacked out. You could really make this thing VIP. So when you think of Lexus, a lot of times when they come out with something new, they are met with some pushback. I always think to 2016 when the RX got redesigned. And before 2016, the RX was a very different vehicle. And it divided the brand almost in half overnight, because now it was appealing to a younger demographic and almost leaving, at first initial response, the older generation to the curb. But that didn't last very long. Within the next year, the RX breaking even more sales records than the already pretty good sales numbers that it was doing with the previous model. And yes, I know in the comments, everybody's gonna be, any current ES owner is probably saying, I bought this car because it had the V6. But when you really think about it, you probably bought that car because it was a smooth drive with lots of space, a luxury feel, and lots of power. And why isn't the ES500 that exactly? Yes, the range is a little bit different. It's less than 500 kilometer range on a full charge, but for most day-to-day driving, isn't that more than enough? I know for me it is. As a second car, an ES500 would be plenty, because to and from work every day, I'm only really driving like 20 to 30 kilometers each way. And if I charge the car at my home or work, that off road trip that I'm going to do, I could just plan for that charge. If it means a cooler driving experience like the ES500. So we're seeing more power than we ever have before in that nameplate, more space, more luxuries, and then this new spa. Now, I will say, I'm a Lexus diehard, there's no doubt about it. Took me a while to get over the styling. The decoration on the side is really what held me back. I love the hood design, I love the headlight design. The weird lower fog light style headlight was kind of weird, but the side vent decoration was kind of what tripped me out online. In person, especially in black, it looks a lot better than I expected, and that's a great thing. I love the fact that it's got those bigger wheels. I love the fact that it's super spacious inside. All of those things make it a pretty darn good car looks-wise, even with that decoration. And who knows, maybe this is one of those cars that, like the 2016 RX, we think at first was like, oh no, this is like too weird and different for us, but in fact is the future. And I know when it comes to Lexus and Toyota, a lot of times their cars are designed so far in advance and tweaked and tweaked and tweaked that the original design for this ES was probably 10 years ago, and then it was tweaked 7 years ago and 5 years ago and 3 years ago. And they started to see, okay, everything is looking like an EV now, not just actually an EV. But if Mr. Lexus is watching, there's one thing I would have done different. I think the future of car design, whether it's EV, gas, electric, or nuclear, should be retro. Think about the nostalgia of a Japanese Yakuza looking VIP sedan, blacked out, low, wide, chop top, whatever, in an EV powertrain. How cool would that look? Instead of cyberpunk, it would look retrograde. And I think that would be pretty cool. I saw a concept, I think it was for Genesis or Kia or Hyundai, one of those three brands. And it was exactly that. It was like this retro looking 80s mafia car. And I think the ES would have been really cool if that's what it is. But I recognize I'm not the masses for this vehicle. I'm not the, typical ES buyer. I'm more of like an LS buyer for sure. But I think this is kind of doing it. Speaking of LS, with the announcement of the LS being finished and that nameplate being used for another luxury experience automobile, the ES had some big shoes to fill. Because already in 2019, it was taking over a little bit of that buyer, but now it's got to take over all of it. It's our only sedan. It's like our only full-size sedan. There's the IS, but it's our only mid-size to full-size sedan. So it's got some big shoes to fill. And I'm happy to say it has the amenities to back it up. For the first time, we can see soft closed doors in the ES, we see reclining rear seats, we see massaging seats, we see all of those amenities that you had to get in the LS, now in the ES. So only time will tell how it actually does in the marketplace and if Lexus made a huge mistake going with this design language, or do they know something we don't about the future? Let me know in the comments below what you think of the new Lexus ES. Is it a hit or a miss?